Good evening and welcome to another scene in the Camarilla and Anarch menu in the living world of darkness. Once again, we are in the Camarilla safe house, or the bunker, as it's normally referred to. A couple of the kindred are gathering around, having a moment of quiet to talk, discuss, socialize maybe. Currently, Scott and Selena Whitaker is here. Maybe there are others. But what are they doing? Well, we're about to find out.
Selena would just be sitting in one of the more communal areas, waiting to see who was around, since seems like quite a quiet evening. Looking her usual fabulous self in a low-cut, tight-fitting dress, and her usual designer heels. And at the moment, she's just sitting, looking.
Scott will be beside her. Lady Selena, how good it is to see you. How is your clan going?
She would look up from her phone. Ah, Scott, darling, a pleasure as always.
Smile. So, how is your clan going? How is Lucy fitting in living within the bunker?
Oh, Lucy is an absolute sweetheart. She is wherever she goes. I'm sure she will fit in here just nicely. An asset, no doubt.
She seems very promising for a member of your clan. I mean, as a member of your clan.
Oh, one I am exceptionally proud of, I assure you.
That seems like my in to stroll into the room. Jasmine's wearing just a classic little black dress and not high heels, just some fairly smart-looking shoes. And she drops a absolutely picture-perfect curtsy to Lady Whitaker and just smiles.
Well, good evening, Jasmine, darling. It is so nice to see you've learned some manners.
I assure you, my sire was most punctilious in making sure I learned them.
As all should be. Please, join us.
Thank you. Please, I sense I've interrupted your conversation. Do continue.
Not at all, my dear. We were simply discussing the beauty that is our clan.
Another interrupter appears. However, this time he's not dressed in designer clothing. He's dressed in what seems to be a simple, tight, somewhat jeans, colored jeans, dark blue, combat boots beneath it. He's still wearing a belt, clearly equipped with two automatic pistols people have seen before, clipped to his back crosswise. And then he walks into the room. He does wear a jacket, but it's open, and underneath it is a button-up shirt. Not the most pretty face. And he will just look around the room and smile when he spots Scott. And he will nod to Lady Whitaker, obviously referring that she's here.
She would return the nod.
Lucius,
Yes,
my greetings.
Mr. Langwood, we've missed you with our last outing. We've done a small operation with the unit.
Did it go well?
We have received quite some extra goodies for the unit as well as for the Camarilla, if the time is right.
Good. Then, if this keeps up, we'll get our city back.
Well, let's hope that we will. Then Lucius will take a seat, or probably take a seat next to Jasmine.
She'll move up to make space for them both.
Probably the final person to enter is Alec. You know, he's in a tank top, baggy jeans, combat boots. His hair's in a ponytail. He just strides into the room, kind of spots this kind of social gathering and kind of just swaggers over with a smirk on his face and kind of big smile then as he sees everybody. Evening.
Evening.
Selena would smile up at him. Alec, darling, well, you do look marvellous this evening. Please, join us. And she would pat a seat close by her.
He'll nod, kind of smiling. Thank you, my lady. Stride over and sit down, you know, fixing himself.
I'm glad to see that you're feeling better than you were last time I saw you.
I do believe, Alex, she was talking to you.
Oh, I think his internet might have dropped out.
Yeah, he was having trouble earlier.
Well, since he won't answer, we can all stare awkwardly at each other for a moment.
Selena likes to just sit back and watch the interaction between others.
I think you may have mesmerised him, Lady Whittaker.
Well, it does tend to happen.
Does it happen often?
Oh, Mrs. Darling, I shall let you be the judge of that. And she just subtly gesture at herself as she said that.
So,
Lucius will smile.
Lady Whittaker, how have you been spending your nights? Have you been busy or bored or happy? Oh, I don't think I've heard much from you.
Oh, one is always busy, Jasmine, darling. There is more than one way to fight a war.
And I was so sorry to hear about your apartment. I do hope you've been able to have that put back to its usual immaculate state.
Yes, these things happen. They were just material things, of no consequence, really. We are all safe. That is the important thing.
I do advise you to reload.
Sorry, Jesse, I didn't hear that. Advise me to what?
I do advise you to relocate, although it's a beautiful apartment, and I'm sure you will feel the loss of not being there Since it's been compromised on several levels, it wouldn't seem wise to keep around.
No, when this trouble is all cleared up, I shall find myself somewhere delightfully new and exciting.
I must say I thought all the dead bodies everywhere made for a totally new interior decor, not what I've seen in the design magazines. I congratulate you on your ingenuity and originality.
Selena would chuckle. Alas, my dear, that was not of my making. But who knows? I may go with something similar for the new place.
Well, now you mention it, it is, although not of your making, I do wonder whose making it is. I mean, the answer that it just simply happened and they started attacking each other, just as Lucy described it, sounds ludicrous as best. I think it's a bullshit answer. However, she has not been very hostile to us, since I do not understand why she would come up with an answer so ludicrous, so it must be right, unless I'm missing something.
Selena's face would darken slightly at the implication that Lucy could possibly be lying. And she would just say, well, I'm sure if anything, darling Lucy was merely confused. I'm sure that in time we will get to the bottom of what actually took place.
Right, but exactly, but confusal doesn't mean that it's not odd to see what has happened. It means either there's a third party who is also involved in what we do, or we are clearly missing a piece of the puzzle.
Well, I for one am just grateful that Lucy made it out of there.
And I also, but Lady Whittaker, may I ask you, did any of the known traitors to the Camarilla know where your abode was? I mean, is it easily explainable that they would know to attack it?
My residence was known to someone who is now on the other side, so to speak.
Well, at least that answers that question. We can we don't have to wonder why they knew the location. Thank you for bringing us up to speed on that.
Well, I don't think you were familiar with Tobias Budge, but he and I were close, and he was very well aware of where I lived.
Ah, well, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm afraid I didn't have the pleasure of knowing him.
He was a remarkable man. It is a tragedy what has befallen him.
Do we know why he decided to turn his back on the Camarilla?
Oh, darling, he most certainly did not. Tobias was killed, and it would be obvious that Selena finds it quite hard to talk about it still. But
in such a way that he would have been able to divulge your location. I am sorry for having placed you on the spot like that, but as you're aware, I am new and don't necessarily know the facts of all these things.
It is not a problem. You no need to apologize. But the man pretending to be Tobias at the moment is most assuredly not the man I knew.
Okay. I mean, I hate to throw this out here in such a bald fashion, but for those of us who are new to the city, how many experienced members of the Camarilla are now walking with our opponents?
Well, not knowing the exact numbers of people that have ever turned to the wrong side, I do believe at the moment from the people that were known in the city that were previously aligned with the Camarilla, I do believe that at the moment we only have one complete traitor and one body or face so much severely compromised that we can establish that this person is no longer that person, however, still wears the same face, if I'm correct, when it comes to Mr. Budge.
So, Mr. Budge, and I presume the other you referred to as Emily.
That's correct, because there were two others, Mr. Justinian de Conte, who is with us, and Miss Lady, what's her face?
Madame Monroe.
Monroe.
Right, Monroe.
Just one thing, you would also know of the former Harpy, or former mistress of Harpies, Samantha.
Oh,
She is
right.
still at large.
Well, technically, I couldn't find her, so she's not large anymore. So in the Duchess's mind, assuming that she is probably dead.
A worrying number, I've no doubt.
They'll fall
Yes.
easy enough. They'll fall easy enough. We can be assured of that.
So far, it's Emily, the one that concerns me the most, and Budge as a close second. However, with Emily, I know that I am up against a former member of the gang. However, with Mr. Budge, I have led to believe he's a Ventru. However, since his face has been taken, I assume I'm dealing with something else entirely.
Selena would nod. The prince used the word Smitsi when I spoke with him about the matter. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but that is the term he used to describe Tobias's current predicament.
So is that like a bloodline, or is that like a beast, or how would you describe it, or how did the prince describe it?
Might I interject one small thing? He does this thing he does where he just pops in.
He does a Theodore. All right.
Theodore, darling. A delight,
Yeah.
as always.
Yeah, Lucius, as
Likewise.
Theodore drops in, Lucius will rise up from his chair and
I do
nod
not
towards.
mean to eavesdrop, but I did hear a certain term, and from what you've described, I think that the prince was correct. If it is a physical change, then it is perhaps, most probably, a member of Clan Smitsi.
Ah, right.
It is not a bloodline, it is a clan that is exclusively a member of the Sabbat. They are perhaps one of the most horrifying things you will ever run into.
So,
Behind Theodore, Lucy will come walking up. It's clearly been following him, at least towards this place. Just...
clearly, it's about spy.
I'm like, wait, this sounds wrong. Shit. She kind of pokes her head from behind Theodore. She's waving to the others. Hey.
Hey, oh, hello. Please, come in. Join the others, please.
Thank you.
What I was saying was that these fellows are quite numerous and are quite terrifying. They have something that, well, they have a discipline that is quite unlike other things. It is essentially, well, they can modulate flesh, bone, and meat pretty much to whatever they like, which is quite horrifying to see in praxis.
So they can creatures?
They can
Selena,
change people to their sinews and bone, and muscles are stronger, bigger, and better, but also change our flesh if they so wish.
Oof.
And I believe that Miss Selena had a unfortunate run-in with her fingers.
as he's saying that, Selena would be nodding and holding one hand, even though there's no sign of the injury now. She would be remembering it and favouring that hand, and she would just look up and say, "Yes, it was frightful. The thing that is
Yes.
pretending to be Tobias actually melted his hand to mine, joined them. I was forced to tear it away."
That would be a quite obvious use of their discipline, vicissitude, or, well, whatever you want to call it. It also makes them able to change humans to their, well, however they want to. They are quite horrifying, and most of them are quite happy to be monsters and use this discipline in quite horrifying ways, to be honest. So,
Okay, can I make an intelligence, maybe either intelligence occult or an intelligence memory, to remember the ghouls that I fought in the defense of the Mayor Chantry?
you do not need to roll anything because a light bulb is popping up in your head and you're thinking, ew, because that might explain some things you saw.
Yeah, exactly.
Scott will smile. So, in back when we fought, when the Sabbat attacked our Elysium, and we were traitor. We were sorry. Back when we found out that the old Malkavian, sorry, out of character. What's her name again? The Malkavian that goes when we found out that Samantha. Back when we found out that Samantha was a traitor, we fought kindred with multiple arms. That would explain.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
it is-
tricky. Can I make
it's
it? Yeah, no, I
connected.
can't. Never mind. I can't.
He just says, I do believe that is connected.
So the question is, how do we kill the Zemitzi? Do they go down to my?
Kill anyone else in the Sabbat.
Do they repel? He kind of gestures at his hands. My closed.
Well, they can do something like that. They can make their hands somewhat more frightful, monstrous, but I don't have that much experience with them, to be honest. I would not know if they are as uncomfortable. He smiles as he looks at Alec, as yours. But, well, shoot them in the face as much as you can until they stop moving and before they get close to you. I would say that would be the appropriate way of handling the situation.
I don't need gun. I just need to unleash my little trick. He kind of smirks at that.
Well, that is my advice anyway.
Jasmine also smirks and makes air quotes around the little trick.
Alec just shoots her a glance, like just with a wicked smile.
Who is Alex sitting next to at this point?
Selena, I believe.
Yeah.
Theodore just looks for a couple of moments. He looks to look around, and he just looks around and just stops talking. And Selena, you feel as though someone just, like, as you're sitting there with Alec, you and the others, it feels like something just, like, someone tries to pull your hair or something. But it's not that, it's not like violent or anything, but you just feel like something just, like, tuck your hair or something.
She would turn in the direction of where her hair's being touched and kind of glance over her shoulder, looking slightly confused.
There is nothing there.
She would try to turn her attention back to the gathering, but is a little perturbed by what she felt.
One second. Just please continue talking.
Selena would turn to Lucy. Lucy, sweetheart, whatever have you been up to?
Been staying down here mostly. I mean, I've managed to get my hands on a set of nice clothes and not like the wrapped up the skirts and everything I was wearing. How do you like it? And she kind of does the circle and kind of twirling around in this white blouse and everything.
Wow, that's splendid. But white is. We are underground. You're going to have a job keeping that pristine, or is that just me?
Probably, yeah. But I saw it and it was so pretty. I couldn't resist.
You look beautiful, Lucy, don't worry. Alex gives her a smile.
Thank you. And she gives a huge smile back.
A
Very
vision of
sparkly smile.
perfection. A vision of perfection, as always, darling. And you know that you are welcome to browse through my wardrobe anytime you need anything. Feel free.
Thank you. That is.
A true member of the Clan of the Rose.
You're also welcome to have a browse through my wardrobe, but I fear it's somewhat more practical.
Well, practical clothes are very necessary in a current situation, don't you think?
Well, I tend to think so, but I imagine Our Lady Whittaker looks pristine no matter the circumstance.
Twarna, could you please check your Facebook?
Yes.
Please continue. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Selena would just be ignoring Jasmine's slight jibes and would just smirk to herself because she knows that she has a pair of jeans in her wardrobe. A single pair. And she actually bought a pair of boots once too. Designer, very smartly cut jeans.
When she bought these boots, was she perhaps feeding heavily on drunk mortals?
No, she would quite happily tell you. I was graciously invited into the Nosferatu domain and was invited to feed their animals. So I dressed accordingly for the event.
Selena, you get another tuck of your hair, but this time it's a bit harder. Your hair is you're actually pulled a little bit back as you're doing it, and people will notice that.
Yeah, Alec is suddenly as well. Almost the moment Selena moves, Alec just up and turns, and pops claws instinctively. He's
Popping
sensing
claws.
something.
You're spending blood in the middle of a wannabe Elysium.
Yeah, he sensed something was wrong.
All right.
Jasmine
She-
stands up and says, "Are you okay, Lady Whitaker?"
Selena would turn around and say, whatever is going on here?
There's something here.
Alec, what are you doing?
Alec
Yeah.
growls at there's something here.
At the moment, Lucius would look at Theodore because you just popped class on Elysium, which would normally be a heavily faux pas of any.
Please, calm down, everyone.
Theodore, darling, something is touching me, pulling my hair.
There's something here and it's very agitated. Alec kind of is growling very angrily.
But I think it's you, sweetie.
Theodore just looks. I'll roll it. Let me just botch this roll. Oh no! Wow. Okay. Yeah. Theodore just he looks calm and very, very, very collected. He's just, please, looks at people. Just calm down. Let's just give it a chance. I don't think I cannot see or hear anything. Well, nothing physical, at least, has gotten in here. And I cannot. And he stops and he gives a bit of a sigh, but you can't tell why. But he like after a little, he seems a little bit more. He doesn't appear surprised. He more just appears a bit tired for whatever reason.
Is there anything behind Lady Whitaker and Alec in terms of space? As in, could I move into the space behind them?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, well, Jasmine's a bit impulsive and daredevil, so she's going to move over and sort of start basically walking through that area, seeing if she can find anything.
There isn't much space, but there is a little. But there's nothing there.
Do you want me to see if there's anyone hiding?
There's someone here. I can feel it.
My dear, he just looks at Lucy and just, my dear, I have already checked. Please, yes, please do. If you feel like it, sure.
Okay.
But I cannot see anything.
Does it look like you assume that she can see more than you can? Because that would raise suspicion among Lucius, because he considers you to be the strongest in the room at the moment.
It's hard to tell. For the moment, it doesn't seem as Theodore is as alarmed as you are, and he seems a little bit more like shrug, like he's shrugging and just saying, "Sure, do whatever you want." That's what you get out of it.
Okay, cool.
Like he has looked, but yeah, guy, you knocked yourself out. That's more the feeling you get from it.
Okay.
Selena's just looking kind of quite freaked out, and she keeps glancing behind her and smoothing her hair down. And she starts playing with one tendril of hair and wrapping it around and around one finger.
Alec is still standing with.
He's probably retracting them, but his eyes are like very fixated on that.
Alec, you feel something. It's not pulling, but it's just like something passes along one of your cheeks. It's not a swift motion, but it's just like very slightly someone is touching your cheek and just letting something like slowly go down over your cheek. It doesn't feel forceful in any way like what seemed to happen to Selena.
People will probably see Alex just squirm back almost instinctively at the touch. He kind of just rides almost. Something's at my face.
Where? Jasmine moved round the sort of sofa and tried to feel around in front of Alex's face, see if she can find anything.
As you get close to Alec, Jasmine, you feel like you're getting pushed.
Ooh, there's definitely something here. It seems to like you, Alec. It doesn't seem to like us girls.
Yeah. He's kind of Alec is growling, like getting angrier and angrier. He doesn't trust us in the slightest.
Lucy will place a hand on Alex's shoulder and hope that at least that can calm him down a little.
It's what the fuck is this, man? This is not comfortable.
Has anyone got that mirror thing?
That would be nice. He's kind of just like trying to like squirm back awkwardly.
Yes.
Lucy will grab into her purse and
Right.
will hand over the mirror to Lucius.
Right.
And just need to. What is that? What is it you see through that mirror thing?
Everything, including what you have.
What does that mean exactly?
That means exactly that Okay, I'll put it in chat.
Yeah.
Because I know exactly what it can see.
Good. Because I don't want to. Yeah.
Selena would reach forward for Alec and say, "Please, darling, sit with me. I feel safer when you're next to me."
I'll be there in a second. It's just something is in front of me. I can feel it.
There is certainly something here.
Sure.
He just instinctively retracts his claws in, but he like reaches almost where Jasmine is, probably like awkwardly trying to like touch where he's being touched in the face. Probably looks hilarious.
Are you sure? I mean, we've all been under a lot of strain lately, and I'm not saying that you're lying or that this isn't real. I'm just saying that
I felt
don't
it too,
see
but then
anything.
I'm quite easily suggestible.
Jesse, I will just message you something.
I really don't saw anything when I tried to look at it. When I tried to see the aura.
It definitely pulled my hair.
Yeah, it pushed Jasmine back when she came towards me. There's something here.
But it doesn't
If
push
it was, if it was just Selena, but Selena, Alec, and Jasmine have all felt something,
Why?
and he'll just stab his sword. I would say you better stop it. Childish behavior, whatever it is.
Whoa.
Ooh, okay.
Would it perhaps be sensible if we just walked into the next room?
No, this thing better come out now, or when it does, I'm going to teach it a very painful lesson. Alec is just kind of rooted to the spot.
The moment you mention any sort of aggressive action, Lucius will simply say, "You might want to hold off on that just a little bit."
Why? What is it?
Well, that's the beauty of it. If I knew exactly what it was, I could tell you if you could do anything against it. However, what I at the momently see is that you are being embraced by one of these forms I can see, but this form is not alone. I can at least see 3 or 4 forms surrounding you and actually wanting to, I don't know, be affectionate maybe?
What?
Only affectionate towards Alec. They don't seem to like Jasmine and I. Selena and I. Maybe
Never
Selena
mind.
and I should go next door and give Alec some space.
Never mind that. I'm being embraced by what? Yeah, I kind of just like.
Well, I don't want to presume too much. It seems to me like you've been embraced by ghost-like figures.
Are you? What?
So, Alec, and he'll smile, who are you going to call?
Is this good thing, bad? Like he's just kind of.
Well, at this, I assume since they are not particularly hostile towards you, I assume it's not bad. However, I do believe the ladies are quite a little bit shocked. So it might be better for you, not better for them. Also, I have to look up on the information on ghosts because it's not necessarily that I run into apparitions like this on a rare basis. I do apologize. And for Alec, Lucius rubs his forehead for a moment and yeah, he decided to leave this area to recheck and ask his region some questions because, well, this is something he's never dealt with before.
As far as I can tell, they seem to like Alec, but dislike the rest of us. Maybe he should get a room with them.
It's not fucking funny, Jasmine. I like it like glares at her.
Sorry, but it kind of is.
Alec just seems to if he could blush, he would go like very red and just like balls his face. Like, quite
Alec,
agitated.
Alec, have you had this all your life, or not life?
Not. He kind of just looked down, quite like uncomfortable. It's, I don't know. I have no idea. It's happened. I think maybe I don't know. I have no idea. He's like brushing his hair out of his face.
Right.
You kind of, you probably everyone will notice him tugging on a wedding ring just uncomfortably on his arm. Sorry, I will leave if I am making you all uncomfortable.
Please
No.
don't.
Don't leave us. You're better here with us.
Selena would nod as Jasmine said that.
There's a person here that needs to. Well, Torna, check Facebook.
Okay.
Everyone, please take me a perception alertness.
It's probably awareness if it's
Yeah,
for
it's
something that you
awareness.
can't. Yeah.
But no, well, yeah, okay, awareness.
If it's something that you can actually like visually see, then it's alertness. If it's
Hear.
something more of a sixth
You
sense,
can
then it's
hear it, but
awareness.
it's very low.
Then it's alertness. If it's sound,
Yeah,
it's alertness.
it's alertness, but it's like difficulty is fuck. Yeah, Jasmine don't hear it. You don't hear shit. Selena does hear something, like a whisper. It's very low and it's very faint, but it just comes like from Torna's direction. But it's no, sorry, Alex's direction.
People
But
will
it's
probably.
very faint. You can't make out what it says, but you just hear something.
What's the
Yes.
difficulty standard?
The difficulty is actually 10.
10.
Okay.
Gosh. Nope, I got nothing.
Selena does hear something.
Actually,
Selena-
you'll all probably
Sorry.
see Alec actually look just completely shuddered, like something he just closed his eyes and like he just looks completely fragile, completely.
Oh. Lucy will still have like her hand on his shoulder.
You'll actually all see his wrist, like his hand, both his hands start to tremor, like his whole body just seems to prickle.
Jasmine will take both Alec's hands in hers.
Something clearly wants to grab hands and try to make them go apart. It's not as violent, but it's clear that something tries to give rip your hands apart.
Alec, these things really seem to not want us to touch you.
It's
What is strange is that it doesn't mind Lucy touching him, but it seems to have quite an issue with Selena or you, Jasmine, touching him.
it's my. He just kind of stops and like looks down as he just like it's my wife.
Oh. You were married once?
And once.
A very stupid question and probably very rude. Was she blonde?
Yes.
Then that's probably why she's pushing Jasmine and Selena away.
Yeah, she was blonde. Alec kind of goes very hollow looking, like he doesn't even like show emotion. His eyes just go very dead. He's talking. She was ill, and she killed herself.
Oh dear.
I tried to help. She told me once that there was like a bug crawling in her brain, pulling out the wires, and I just ignored it and came home one day and to stop the pain.
I see.
I am very sorry to hear that, Alec.
Do you... Sorry, go on.
It is all right. It was my fault. Yes, it was my fault.
Honey, it's really not. Everybody has a moment. Everybody has a time. And this was hers. Don't blame yourself for the end of life. Because in the end, we all, well, maybe not us, but when I was working in a hospital, I've seen so many people. And if we were there seconds earlier, we might have been able to save them. It is a terrible thing to see someone wither away or to lose someone. But in the end, when the time is given, that is what it is. And there is nothing that anyone can do to stop that. Please don't blame yourself.
I think it's the fact that she's probably waiting for me and I can't die. He just smiles sadly.
Selena would just be sitting back, saying nothing, but a look of genuine concern on her face.
Jasmine tries to reach out for him again. Alec, we're your coterie. If there's anything we can do to help you, please. How do we help you?
I don't know.
Well, maybe we can start with showing her, if she's still around you, that we don't mean you no harm. Right? And like we don't try to infringe on her space? In a way? I don't know. I'm not familiar with this kind of things. This is way beyond anything I've ever... I didn't even realize this existed. But it kind of makes sense, right?
I will leave you. I should not be around here. He just seems to just go very dead as he just...
No. Don't go. We'll deal with this together. We're a coterie.
We are here for you, Alec. Don't worry, we will help you with this matter.
Selena nods and says, "This is a matter for all of us to help with, regardless of coterie."
We're a team, right?
Precisely.
If there is any time where we should work together, now is it. Now it is.
I will repay you all for this in some way. He just kind of doesn't look up. He just is staring down at the ground. I never thought I would hear Abigail again. He just kind of just smiled.
Well, for now, sit here, take this sofa that we're not currently using, and if she hears us, let her know that for the moment she's welcome here also.
I'll try. He just sits down, looking just completely still, dead-eyed as he just stares down.
Please relax and, I suppose, give a bit of a bit of room, perhaps, not encroach on his companion's space for the moment until we find a way to deal with this situation. I'm quite certain that this is not a problem for our security. For the moment, you are fine. Just need to find out a way to deal with this for the moment. But I am quite certain that people will keep their, well, at least some distance. He just looks around until we have resolved this matter.
If you need me to remove myself in the interest of people, I have no problem.
No, not at all. You can stay. It's not a problem. But any unexplained bumps, and let us just avoid that for the moment. Does everyone agree? Good. He just looks at you and just nods. Well, that is. Cannot say that I've had a lot of dealing with such a thing, but oh well.
Maybe Lucius and his people would know more. I think they would be the closest thing that we have to an expert.
Yes, I'm quite sure that the regent, as he's going to talk to, will have some more information on this.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know who else in the city might have knowledge.
Everyone can hear a bit of a sigh, and just Theodore just pauses for a couple of seconds. I'm quite sure that the regent will be quite sufficient.
Selena has her own ideas, but she'll say nothing.
It's so romantic that she still cares for him, even beyond the reach of death. So sad.
Romantic. Just Theodore just looks at Jasmine and just looks.
Doesn't it move
Remind me to never, ever, 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 ever get romantically involved with anyone like you. He just smiles.
But she loves him even beyond the bound of death. Doesn't that move you? It doesn't. Isn't that incredible?
Could we discuss that at a different time? He just
Alec is just glaring at you.
Just looking at her.
Yeah,
looking
Alec
at
is
her.
glaring at you.
His eyes comes over to Alec, who is not that far away from him, and just
No, Alec is just staring over at Jasmine. Like probably all of you can hear his knuckles cracking as his fist tense as he's glaring at Jasmine.
Yeah, you see, she would think that would be a comforting thing to hear, but obviously she comes from a very different angle on these things.
It's romantic that my wife is dead, Jasmine.
No, it's romantic that she still cares for you.
Jasmine, please be quiet.
So, as Lucy kind of tries to break the awkward silence, because that's Lucy, how about we try something for distraction? Anyone?
Mm,
What
I
did you
mean,
have in
What do
mind,
you think?
darling?
I don't know, but I mean, if we ho- honestly, and she kind of squeezes Alex's shoulder apologetically, this is a situation that we will have to face. It's not something we can change. So let's at least try and see if we can just go about things the way they are. I mean, wouldn't that be best for all?
Absolutely, darling.
sure,
You are right, as always.
but what are you thinking?
I don't know. Is there anything that we could do around here? Something to distract? Something that maybe, can bring a smile to our faces instead of us being sad?
Well, uh, as soon as you say
Ordinarily,
that, then like you can see Theodore's eyes just light up, but he just kind of composes himself and just like begins to stand there and just like, well, I don't, well, I have absolutely no idea. But he's bad at hiding this thing. Whenever he's just thought of something and he's trying his very best not to continue the thought for some reason.
ordinarily, Selena would have made some innuendo or something, but she knows this isn't the time or the place, so she bites her tongue on that regard. But she would look up at Theodore and say, darling, why don't you let everyone hear
I,
that
I really should.
fabulous voice of yours?
Please,
I think anyone
well,
can.
if you think that is best, and you can see Theodore with his form. He just like he begins to jittle a little and begins to like trip a little, like a child who wants to show someone a new trick they've learned. But he seems somewhat anxious, and as soon as someone has said, "Well, maybe we could," then he's give me just. He looks around. Give me 5 minutes. And Theodore will almost like run backwards to something, and he seems to disappear for the moment.
Selena would look round at the
Well,
others and say, you're all in for a treat if Theodore will perform for us.
Then I will, as I seem to be in ill graces tonight, I will allow you to enjoy that without the discomfort of my presence. I wish you all a lovely evening. She'll curtsy to Lady Whittaker and withdraw.
Before she goes, Selena would say, Jasmine, darling, a moment of your time before you take your leave. And
She,
would stand and walk over to one side, like slightly away from the gathering.
Jasmine will join her. She doesn't look happy about it, but she will.
Once they're kind of out of earshot of the others, Selena would just say, look, darling, there was something I wish to speak to you about. As I'm sure we can both agree, we have not exactly seen eye to eye since our first meeting. However, I think that this is neither the time nor the place for us to indulge in petty rivalries. The time for that will no doubt come later. For now, I propose that we do our best to get along, or at least be civil to one another. After all, we should all be working together right now to regain our city.
Let none ever accuse a member of the Clan of the Rose of lacking civility.
Precisely. So, what do you say? If not friends, then at least temporary allies? And she'll extend a hand to be shaken.
Jasmine will shake it. You can see her fingernails are short and broken.
Selena would frown slightly as she sees them, but she would take the hand firmly and give it a friendly shake.
Jasmine will drop her a brief curtsy, a brief smile. It looks like she's genuinely willing to not to be good for the duration of the conflict, at least. and then she will quietly give everyone a brief smile and leave.
At about the time you're leaving, you can see that Theodore comes up with like a bit of stuff, and like he's just gotten a bit of more, well, a bit weirder clothing on, and he just say, "Please, Jasmine, you can stay. It's quite all right."
I'm afraid I really can't. I do wish you a most pleasant evening.
You will all hear a scuff, like someone blowing air very, very quickly out of their nose. It's just like, and just, I just out of character. Jasmine can stay. You don't need to. Just because you're leaving the scene, you can stay.
Yeah, I think she'd probably want to go off and mope on it, to be honest, because she likes the idea of love lasting beyond death and things. It's really romantic. She really thinks that's amazing, but kind of everyone else clearly doesn't share that viewpoint, so she's probably going to go off and enjoy being miserable.
Fair enough. Theodore will just, he will just direct people and just sit them down. And in this room, he will begin to, he's just doing something with his voice where he's like warming up his voice, but he will begin to sing. And all of those present or in earshot can hear that Theodore has probably done this before. He's singing an aria from an opera called La Traviata, and he is very good at this. He really knows what he's doing, and he's also, you can see that he gets into it, and you're also quite certain that he could probably sing up a much, much louder room if you wanted to. You cannot detect any use of presence while he's doing this. This is all just technique and him being there. And after like a good 8 minutes, he will just stop singing and we'll just do a very, very skillful bow to everyone and just.
Selena would have retaken her seat, and throughout the performance, her attention would be primarily on Theodore, but every now and again she would have glanced back at Alec just to check that he was okay. But when Theodore finishes his song, she would give a hearty round of applause. Fantastic.
Thanks.
As always. Superb.
Scott will applaud, and he'll look at Alec. It will be all right, Alec. We are all here for you. Remember that.
Alec applauds Theodore and just nods at Scott and shoots a weak smile at Selena, and he's just kind of holding on to Lucy, kind of appreciative, kind of glancing. He just kind of just nods.
Thank you. And you can tell like he does enjoy this. He just looks around and he will for the moment just sit around. He will have a little pause, but probably a bit later he will do another song. And this song is a bit more, it's not like tragic, but it is from a tragic piece, and it is a bit more, well, complementary to the mood, but it's very heartfelt. And again, Theodore really just, for a moment, you could mistake him for a living person, or close to it. He really gives it his all as he's singing, and he seems to be quite into it. But as Theodore will end the other song and the kindred retire to their respective places, and this lovely conversation, this mixing is kind of quieting down. Theodore will just bow once more, and he will just he won't really say anything, but he will just go to his own quarters for the moment. And the kindred are sitting behind, and there is a bit of quiet for the moment.
Well, that was beautiful.
It
Lucy
was.
is obviously not a fan of quiet.
It is always a pleasure to hear Theodore sing. A fantastic performer. One that our clan would have been proud to have as their own, I'm sure.
His
Sure.
voice, he'll say, his singing matches the beauty of the roses we have here.
It almost makes me feel jealous. I tend to sing only in the shower. Well, I used to tend to sing only in the shower.
I've not sang in a long time. Long time.
What kind of songs did you sing?
He just looks down embarrassed. Just lullabies and, some Russian stuff that we used to sing when we were drinking, Just, nothing too bad. He just kind of smiles to himself. Although, we could dance and sing. That is always fun. Might lighten the mood a bit.
Sure, we could. I wouldn't mind, I guess.
He just kind of shoots up as he's like trying to just ignore everything and just, it's quite, he takes Lucy quite, forcefully and just like spins her around dramatically. He's not too bad at dancing.
No, Lucy is actually following.
And he'll start to sing, and he has a very deep Russian voice, very, very, deep but powerful at the same time. And he'll just sing away in Russian.
Scott will go to Lady Selena, bow and offer a arm. I am ashamed to say I am a terrible dancer, but if you will accompany me, I'm sure we will I'm sure we can join them. And he'll smile.
Selena would narrow her eyes slightly as she watches Alec and Lucy, but as soon as Scott speaks to her, the smile returns to her face, and she would stand gracefully and say, "I'd be delighted, darling."
And he'll take her and he'll start dancing with her.
She's no fantastic dancer, but she can certainly move, if you get my drift.
Oh my!
Oh my!
Oh my!
Probably what Alec can do as well is he interchange between Selena and Lucy. Like his dancing gets faster. It's almost like a polka type dance as he just spins through, like loudly singing quite loudly in Russian. He has a big smile on his face as well as he's breezing through.
Now this is the Alec I like to see. I'll say with a big smile.
Selena just joins in the dance like wholeheartedly, and she's just glad to be having fun now that the mood has been lightened somewhat.
Lucy is very close to giggling. She has a very big smile on her face, and she obviously is enjoying, well, the spins and the dance. And as Alec is finishing his song, she will applaud. That was amazing.
He just kind of grins to himself. It's just fun song I used to sing with my friends. You know? He'd shoot a wink at Lady Selena. When you see beautiful women, sometimes it's necessary to get up, dance, and spin around, and just, you know, enjoy the mood for a while.
She would grin at him. And she would think back to see if there's any songs from her past, but she doesn't think that a good old London rendition of Roll Out the Barrel or something would be appropriate. So she just keeps quiet.
Well, if you want to, I almost feel bad for us staying behind on the singing part. I'm really not a very good singer, but I found a love for country music, actually, or folk music, I should say. If you'd like to.
Lucy, I will be honored to hear you sing. He just smiles at her.
Well, okay. And she'll stand. She starts singing. I'm not gonna do an entire song, guys, but like the refrain is it's actually a very it's a ballad. Okay, I used to sing in scenes sometimes, so I can try it if you want to.
Yes, please do.
Me too, yeah.
Okay. Greyville has covered the country again, and the raindrops have started their song. Autumn will marry in winter, and her veil will be white before long. And my heart it lies sleeping and waiting for the light to return to your eyes. When your gaze will fall on my wanderings again, I will roam where eternity lies. And, well, the song goes on a couple of couplets and choruses and stuff, and she'll end and kind of make a kind of like tries to lighten the mood with the giggle at the end, and she bows.
Selena would clap and have this kind of look of absolute pride on her face as she smiles at Lucy and says, "Why, darling, that was marvelous. You have so many hidden talents."
It's like I said, I usually sing in the shower.
You make me so proud that we are family.
You should start singing more often.
Well, if you insist, how can I refuse?
It'll be pleasant to hear him some nights, as Alec gives her quite the charming smile.
Thank you.
Selena would look to Scott and say, "Are you going to grace us with a song?"
Off my goes, I could sing something. I'm not sure it would be as pleasing as to the ears as Lucy or as sorry, what's his name? The Nosferatu.
Theodore.
I'm not sure it would be as pleasing as Lucy or Theodore's voices.
Oh, come now, Scott. I sang in Russian for everybody. The least you can do is sing. Come on.
And he'll smile, and he'll sing I come from a land down under, because he's Australian.
Selena would chuckle. Well, aren't you all a talented bunch?
What about you, my lady?
Oh, darling, I make it a rule to never sing.
Oh, come now. He's like leading her into a slow dance. Come on, sing for me.
She just smiles and shakes her head. A lady must ensure that some things remain a mystery.
And sometimes a lady must forget she's a lady and have a bit of fun every now and again. He just shoots her a wink.
Well, I'm sure we can
Oh, my.
discuss that matter in a more private setting, perhaps.
Well, after you then. He kind of just gestures with a smirk on his face.
She would look round at the others and then look back at him and give him a playful smile and a shrug and just take his hand.
He'll kind of shoot a look back to Scott like, oh yeah, and then just give Lucy a very charming smile and then, lead away.
And yeah, she happily follows wherever he leads.
Some very weird cat noises coming from the corner they've got around there.
Lucy will kind of look at Scott and says, well, I think that was the entertainment for tonight. I'll see you around, okay?
He'll smile. We'll see you around, yes.
And she will go to wherever the fuck she's been staying. And if that was near wherever Selena is staying, she will make sure to go for a walk.
For a long night, Lucy is.
Oh boy. I think with that, we can end the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for playing. Thank you, SD, for SDing. And thank you, host, for hosting. Watchers for watching. And whoever the fuck wants thanks can have them. Good night.